Is it crazy that we're near the end of this year? And to tell you what's even wilder, how much music came out this year? We had like album after album after album. We know what was the most important conversation of this year? Well, not really. What was the album of the year? And today we are going through it and I am dictating what my album of 2024 is. I'm doing this duty for all of you out there. Hi, I'm Styleboy and we're going through all the albums of the year. Disclaimers because there are so many. One, this is not an objective viewpoint. We're being hella subjective, so these are all just my opinions. Two, there are albums I obviously have missed out that have come out this year that I just haven't got around to listening, and they are on my list to listen to for next year. So I know I'm missing Doechii, Chloe's, I know I'm missing Kelsey Ballerini's as well, and Meg Thee Stallions are the main ones I think people have been like listening to and I haven't got around to yet. Do not worry, we will get there. Number three, I know that some of these albums are like double albums or like remixed albums, so we do have the original and then the double album put into this list separately. You'll see what I mean, specifically with Taylor Swift's Torture Poets and Torture Poets Anthology. That's what I mean. That's like the main one. But yeah, do I have any other disclaimers? Prepare to be mad. If you have a different opinion, tell me down below. This is all meant to be like just fun and games for the end of the year. Let us begin. So we're going on order from worst to best. So we're starting off with number 30. This should be pretty obvious. Number 30 is 143 by Katy Perry. This was definitely the worst album of the year. I don't even need to argue for that. Also, I know we're not supposed to go into the marketing of this movie. This is just for the quality of its music, but I'm sorry. Like, including Dr. Luke on this album, and then releasing a song called Woman's World is so fucking hypocritical. You're choosing to work with an essay abuser. Is that the right term? Because you think it's gonna bring back your past glory. That's just wrong. But even then, the music is crap. The music is actually just bad. And to me, what I feel like this album is trying to do is be cunty, but the album is not cunty at all. And that is simply for the fact of there's no connection. Like, with so many of the albums as we get up and up and up, even if it's not the most like deep and meaningful album, you can tell that this relates heavily to the artist and who they are as a person. Like, you can tell there's a person behind the music. Girl, where's that person? Like, it feels so disconnected and it feels so odd. Also, the lyrics are crap. I'm sorry. You're trying to be hot and sexy and whatever, which go off, girl. You do what you need to do. But crawling like a centipede is not hot or sexy. Also, another dumb lyric. I heard you got a jump tip on your jeans. Girl, this is Katy Perry we're talking about. That girl does not have an ass. Sorry. The music is generally bad. It's also this like weird, boring digital house beat kind of thingy. Like, yeah, we're trying to be house. And it's like, I just don't get it. I feel like this is unfortunately the album is for the gay men who don't really give a fuck about women. That's all I'm gonna say. The closest song I've liked from it is I'm His, He's Mine because of Doechii. And that's literally it. Doechii, can't wait to listen to your album next year. Katy Perry, no. Next is Brat, and it's completely different, but also it's still Brat, aka the remix album. Beat bop, beat bop. I tried. It's just so far into that like hyper pop that I just can't get into it. Brat is on this list. It's a lot higher, but yeah, I just can't get into it. And also because some of the remix songs, they removed the best part of the song, aka Sympathy is a Knife. Why did you remove like the chorus? The chorus was so good in it. And it would have so suited Ariana's vocals as well. Anyway, just not my thing at all. Sorry. Next at 28 is Rosie by Rose. This I had such high hopes for. Like, I really did. As soon as I was like, yes, we are in it. I was so excited. It's incredibly catchy and it's just fine. Then the rest of the rollout comes out and the album does. Which also, by the way, I don't know why it came out so quickly. Like, it could have had time to breathe. This album was just incredibly boring and samey and very like safe pop, which, do not get me wrong, I love me like a basic pop album, which we'll get into. Some of y'all are gonna be mad. I feel like with this album, I wish there was just more to it. Her vocals are so good and I have faith in her. I just wish there was more to it. 27, COXO. I literally gave it a listen before filming this video this morning and I still don't really get it. I know, because so many people were like, oh my god, you need to give it another try. You need to give it another try. Was it my friend Teo, my friend Chrissy were like, you need to give it another try. I did and I just don't get it. I think I respect it maybe a little bit more because it is experimental and I can see like the vision and there is a world created. Like, I get the vibe of like it is very Miami inspired, so I'm like, yes girl, but I just don't like the song. There's like one song I like and I think it's called Dream Girls because it's like fun. It's like, oh my god, yes. But apart from that, not really anything else, and that's fine. You know what, that's okay. Okay. Next, at 26 is the Mean Girls soundtrack for 2024, which I think will sound weird to so many people. A, because I was the one non-stop streaming the songs, and then 2, because I made an entire video, and the beginning of that video I was giving the movie its praises, which don't get me wrong, the movie is not bad, it's not amazing, but it's like a fun movie. Costumes are crap, but we know this. But as a soundtrack in general, yeah, no. It's a no from me, dog. Honestly, it is purely because of who they casted as Katie and how they changed all of her songs to be so dull. It really ruins it, the music, especially compared to the musical. The energy and the personality has just disappeared. It's giving like every girl in 2014 thinking they're an acoustic singer. It's boring as fuck. However, there are some absolute bangers on this. Renee rap, any song that she does, god tier. Till Someone Gets Hurt, yes. World Burn, god tier. Sexy by Avantika, it's so fun. I love it so much. Every other song, so for me, it's down here. Number 25, which feels like a crime, is Timeless by K Tronada. I think K Tronada is genius. I love his production style. It's so great, it's so cool. The way that he produces is amazing. I love this like contemporary house R&B, and it's amazing. I love it so much. My problem is with this album specifically, everything just sounds the same after a while. Like when you're trying to listen to it fully, it gets so repetitive after a while because, especially this one, there's not really variation between track to track. And because of that, I don't know, it just doesn't really stand out to me. And so that's why it's this low, which feels sad because there's also songs I love from this album, especially Weird. Weird is like, I love Weird. Basically, anytime him and Duran Denbar collaborate, god tier. Like literally from his last album, Bubba, Free Fall was like my favorite song off there. Yeah, I don't know, it just didn't stand out to me in that way. Same with the next album, which is Crash by Kalani. This one I had such high hopes for, especially with After Hours being such like a banger and an unexpected banger. I was like, oh my god, are we gonna get like a Sweet Sexy Savage part 2? I was so excited. The album just became really let down to me because I think at first I loved it, but then it became forgettable. And then when I gave it a restream, I was like, oh, it's not that revolutionary or interesting, which is sad. It's not a bad album by any means, it just wasn't an album to me that stood out. 23 is Soft and Strong by Cat's Eye, which I know is an EP. We have included EPs in this, okay? Again, if you see my video on Cat's Eye, you know I'm rooting for those girls and I absolutely adore them. I think for this specific EP, for me it's kind of split into 3s, which is 2 songs I absolutely adore, which is Touch and Debut. My god, they're such bangers. Especially Touch. I really misunderestimated how much I listened to Touch so much. Oh, it's so good though. Then there's one song I like, which is Tonight I Might. It feels mature, it feels adult in a way, and I really like it. Then the other 2 songs, is it I'm Pretty, boring. And then the other one I really don't like because to me it just sounds like a Disney Channel original music song, and not in the good way because Disney Channel music bangs, but in the corny way, My Way. I feel like this was the song where like it really said like who our audience is. I have a lot of faith in them. Also, it's an EP, so like this is just 5 songs. I know and I hope that when they go into the studio and they make more music whenever they're ready, that the music that they do make is so good and it's gonna be so fun because honestly, I am so excited to hear it. I am so pumped to hear it. It's gonna be absolutely amazing, and like I said, honestly, I'm so excited because again, I have a lot of faith in them. If you don't know me, I love me a girl group. I honestly am rooting for girl groups every single time. Absolutely love them, and honestly, I just want them to succeed. The next one is No Hard Feelings by Leanne. Now, with this, I just think none of the songs just stood out to me. Not bad by any mean. Oh my god, no. It's just like none of the songs really stood out, and I didn't really get where we were going with it. I think when you listen to it, granted, it is another short album. Oh my god, it's a banger. Oh my god, it's the one song I was like, I really like it. And Nature I also quite like, as well as Forbidden Fruit, and the rest of it's kind of just like forgettable to me. I don't know, just none of the songs to me really stood out. Again, not a bad one by any means. Also, it's weird because like I think Leanne had 2 really strong starting singles, which were like Don't Say Love and My Love with Arya Starr. Oh, she is someone who I fall in love with, and actually whose album I need to listen to. It just didn't really stand out to me. Not bad by any means. I feel like we've gone past the bad albums. Yeah, just didn't do really anything for me. 21 is Brat. I can already hear some of you screaming at me, be like, why is Brat so low? And hear me out, okay. This is a very subjective view. I will give credit where credit is due because I literally listened to it actually very recently for the first time. I wasn't really on the Brat train. Also, it was absolutely everywhere. Jesus Christ. So I didn't really need to. But before listening to it recently, I listened to like snippets here and there. A, because of TikTok, but also be just from hanging out with my friends and when they play music. So I know that I listened to, what is it, like Apple, because it was fucking everywhere. Sympathy is a Knife, which actually is a banger and actually one of my favorites from the album. And then I think obviously like Von Dutch and 360, When You're in the Mirror, Do You Like What You See? And I think the world building for this is, it's incredible. Like the artistry that Charlie has and just for building a world, not even via marketing, this is just the album alone. Like when you auditory listen to it, you can see where it is. And I think that's so amazing. And you can feel like you're in the environment of the club and everyone's just sweating and dripping and just letting loose. Like, and even like when you listen to it, you can visualize everything. The color schemes, the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup, everything. So I feel like to me, almost like the music does the talking for itself, which is incredibly strong. And I think that's why I merit its like task. Also lyrically, actually, there's a lot of deeper lyrics to it, which I think has a nice juxtaposition against the like super hyper pop beats and the like super techno inspiredness. I think it works really, really well. And again, it's great for storytelling. However, this is just an album not for me personally. I think to me, it is way too hyperpop for me to enjoy. I think it's also other context, I'm autistic. So for me, it's a little sensory overload because it's just like boom, 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 and so many different sounds here and there and there and there and there and there that I'm just like, what the fuck am I experiencing? Like it's a bit too far and I think just made me not enjoy it when I tried to listen to it. For me personally, I just really didn't. And I think there are some songs I almost liked but I couldn't get onto fully. Like Spring Breakers was one I was like almost into but not fully. I think also Everything's Romantic. I love like fall in love again and again, fall in love with the violins. Oh, it's so dreamy. And then you just hear that random like, I'm like, ugh. So for me, it's a little bit too far into that, but I think I completely respect it. This is also the kind of album which I feel like there's a type of person who listens to it. Like, but it's weird because I think compared to every other album, which is why I think it succeeded so well during the summer, which is why like the Powerpuff Girls were a thing. This album is for a very specific kind of person, and I am just not that person. So yeah, to me, wasn't it? But I totally respect it. Now we're at number 20, and this is probably gonna confuse a lot of you. It is the Torture Poets Department, the Anthology. Now hear me out. I have separated the Torture Poets Department and the Torture Poets Department Anthology separately. So obviously I know they're connected, so I obviously understand the context of before, but this is the inclusion of after. But for the Anthology, she's very sad. She's giving Evermore, and if you know me, Evermore is not very much high on my rankings. And for me personally, if an album makes my heart almost feels like I'm sinking, that is not my kind of thing. And I think with the Anthology and Evermore, it really gave me that. And I think with the Anthology, it's pretty much the same experience where I listened to it for the first time. I just feel really sad. Also, I will say, I think it was just like wrong timing because it was literally just fresh from a breakup. So it was just really, really sad. I will say I was maybe a bit too harsh on the Anthology when I initially listened to it. Because I gave it another quick listen today and there are some bangers on there. My favorite songs for the Anthology are like The Black Dog, I'm Gonna Get You Back, So High School, because I'm a romantic, and especially on tour watching it, I've been swayed even more. I Hate It Here, including that weird lyric. I get what she means, but I still find it very tone deaf. And the manuscript I really like. And thank you, Amy. I'm a rep girl, what can I say? But no, I think they're the ones I like. And then everything else, apart from the Bolter, I also don't mind. It's very much, again, your Evermore, like we're trying to figure out these riddles and quite sad. I found it quite difficult to listen to and therefore I can't really give it much higher because it's just not something I would stream personally. I will also give Peter some credit because that's an amazing lyric song. 19. This one, I will say I can see this growing on me because this had already moved the second time I listened to it, and it is SOS Deluxe Lana. Now, I really like SOS as an album, so I was really excited for Lana. And I remember the first time listening to it, I was just kind of like, huh? I was just so confused. Maybe to me, I am such a production girly first before a lyric girly. So yeah, like for me, it's the beats, the melodies and everything. They are what gravitate towards me first, not the lyrical content. And so I didn't really get it. My friend Chrislyn explained to me that Lana is more healing, and I can now hear it the second time I listened to it. Because I think initially I gave it really low. I gave it another stream today. today, and there are some bangers on there. Like Diamond Boy, BMF, School Say, Baby Daddy, Love Me For Me, My Turn. So there are definitely songs I really like from it, which is why I was like, I'm intrigued to give it another shot. I will say this is definitely also the album that you need your friend to blast it out loud to convince you, which there are so many songs this year. My friend Chrissy, because we like live near each other, so when we go to the gym and we finish at the same time, we would like drive and he would play something out loud, and there are so many songs that have convinced me or swayed me so many other ways. There was like Amare's Thug. That song is excellent. That's how he got me really into Riverdance. That's how he got me into Shihiro. So I trust him. I will give it another shot again. So I could see this being higher, but at the moment, it's just here. I think it's just because honestly, it's just a bit too mellow for me. And when it comes to R&B and pop and whatever, I'm definitely more high energy. You'll see that as we get higher up in the rankings. A bit too mellow, a bit too soft. So everything kind of sounded one-notey, but I will give it another shot and I'll let you know what I think later. Next at 18, which is gonna piss so many people off, is Radical Optimism. Not because it's here, it's because what's below it. I'm also a bit of a basic pop fan. Me and Chrissy are. We can be all technical and whatever, but if you give us a good pop album, we're gonna listen to it, okay? This album isn't bad. It is very basic. I just think compared to like Future Nostalgia, which wasn't such an incredible out there album, like a 10 out of 10, this does feel like a step back, but it's not a bad step back. And there are some bangers on here, my God. However, there was a point where every time I tried to listen to this album, I just got through like the first 3 songs and I would just stop. That was a big period of it. Like I would listen to End of an Era because that song's amazing, Houdini and Training Season, and then I would just stop. And that was really it. So my prediction with this album is that it's gonna end up being a summer album. An album that I will purely only listen to in the summer. So this is definitely given the same energy as Lover, and it's given the same energy as About Last Night by Mabel. Not bad albums. And Lover I would listen to throughout the year, but during the summer it just hits so different. It's different with you. There is another summery album coming up in my list, but it's different and I'll explain why. I do like the album. I think it's great, but like I do see why people are saying like it's not really interesting. Again, it's no Future Nostalgia. And personally for me, yeah, I can't really get too far with it at the moment. At 17 is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. Now you'll probably be like, huh? Because I am nowhere near a Billie. This is one song that Christian played out in the car. He played Shihiro, and I was like, oh my God, I really gotta get into this. I love me a song that feels like you're levitating, and there's so many songs like that, which is why again I like Kate Tronada a lot. So like Kate Tronada's Free Fall, Victoria Monet's Dive, like that kind of vibe, and Shihiro fits into that so well. And so I gave it a listen, and I was really surprised because again, Billie Eilish is not really my music taste, and I liked a lot of the songs from it. It was really short. It's like what, a 10-song album, but it's really strong. My favorites from this album specifically are like Shihiro, Birds of a Feather, and The Greatest. Those are my top 3. I adore them and they are so incredibly amazing. And I also love that she wasn't afraid of experimenting with lengths, like making them longer. I'm such a long song girly. I think for me, the problem is the ending just, it takes me so out of it. Like it starts off really strong and then the second half of the album ruins it for me. Like when we get into the cartoonish spy song with the diner, Love of My Life, I know it's called the French version, when we get into the 80s synth pop, it really was like, oh, where are we going with this, hun? And Blue, I just really wasn't into it, honestly. And I just do not think it completed with a bang. It kind of completed like, oh God, it just wasn't my thing. So honestly, I didn't really listen to the rest of the album. I just listened to those songs mainly, and that's really it. Then at 26, we have Tyler's album. I did put the plus because it was a deluxe. Oh, another context I should give. Majority of these albums I have listened to the deluxe editions of. So Tyler, our Afrobeats girly, has entered the scene. This is like such a strong debut album and the songs are banging. There are so many good ones. My note, which I think this is everyone's note, it just is very one note. Like it sounds like the same melody kind of going throughout the tracks, which kind of becomes quite boring. And it's sad because the songs are really good, but it just becomes very like one note, repetitive, slow. And I feel like that's why I can't really put it much higher because there's not much variation. As much as I love myself on the Caucasian, I am definitely someone who loves variation, and to me this was a bit too similar. However, with the plus thing, Push to Start, God tier. That's the song by itself I'm like, I adore. There are songs I really like from it, like Safer. Safe is a banger. Push to Start, as I said, amazing. Number One featuring Thames. That's a God tier song, my God. Butterflies, I love. Art is beautiful as well. It kind of sucks because it's so good and I have a lot of faith in her. So this makes me excited for her next album, like a lot, where she goes. But Push to Start, banger. Oh my God, I'm so glad they chose it as a single. Now we're into the top 15, which I was gonna say the top 15, so we're halfway. For me, these are the songs that I have or will add to like my Spotify albums because I love them. They're really strong albums to me and I absolutely adore them. I'm really, really excited about these albums and I love them. So let's go. At 15, we have Ocre Dias by Garly Pop. This is the only album I've not listened to the deluxe version of. But this was like one of the first albums I listened to for the year that I was like, oh, we're in a good year. And it's because I remember this girl on TikTok who I follow, who's like a music creator, recommended this album and I was like, oh my God, yes. One of my favorite things about Garly Pop's music is how romantic and ethereal it is. Like how much it's whimsical and very much like, again, you're floating in this like dreamy lavender haze. Why am I making so many Taylor Swift references? Like, it just feels so dreamy and creamy and romantic. I love it. And I remember just non-stop streaming this album at the beginning of the year. It was like that and Renee Rapp, which is very much opposite. My God, I love it. I feel like for me, it's just as the years progress, I feel like so many albums have just been better personally, but this album is still a banger. It's still in the like halfway and I absolutely do adore it. So I would recommend it. And it makes me really want to listen to her last album because people love it and I really want to listen to it. I still need to get around to it, my God. Next is NA by NAON, who is part of Twice. That's because I listened to ABC and I fucking love it. I remember watching the music video and being gagged. And then there was the dance break. I was like, yes, it's so good. It's definitely giving like Y2K, R&B pop, which I love. And it's also K-pop, which you know I love. I definitely need to listen to more K-pop albums. It's shocking that there's not many, if at all. She's so good. And it's NAON. Like, I really liked her last project. Pop, pop, pop. It's so good and it's just such a fun album and really strong tracks. Like, I think there's only one song I didn't like, and Magic as well. Magic is a banger. I love Magic. So it is a really, really good album. I think for me, I just wish there was a bit more direction with where we were going, like a bit more, a stronger identity. But apart from that, love her. She's great. My God. At 13, this album didn't come out technically this year, but I know that everyone's including it in its ranking, so I'm gonna include it in its ranking, which is The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by our queen, Chapel Roan, with 2 out of the 3 Powerpuff Girls done. Now, hun, if you want some personality and some brand identity, this album is right there. Chapel just makes such good, fun pop music and it's so strong and it feels so her. It's just like such a joy to listen to. Like when you have the upbeat songs, it feels like a smile. I can't help but smile or feel good when listening to it. My God, like especially when it comes to like Red Wine Supernova. That song makes me just so happy. Back in that, and it just feels so like empowering, and especially as like from queer person to queer person, it's so empowering and so fun. Even like After Midnight and like Naked in Manhattan, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me. There's literally personality oozing out of this album. This is like one where you can tell like the artist and the album, it just feels like them and I adore it so much. It's so cheeky, it's so silly, but in like the way that feels like so human, and I absolutely love it. Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl is my absolute favorite song of the album. That is like literally been my gym song. It's so good and it feels so empowering. I adore it so much. It's just absolutely amazing. My problem, which I think is the same problem as like Ashley when she was doing it, I wish the ballads had the same personality as the upbeat songs, because again you can feel the personality and it's just like again oozing out, and to me the ballads just don't feel like that. They feel almost like too stripped back and too basic. And I'm like, babe, come on, add something. I wish there was more to though. Like, I feel like the best example maybe is having more of that rocky, poppy influence in the ballads. I know this isn't technically like a ballad, but like Pink Pony Club is a really good one of having the piano, but then the campiness of it. And I don't know, I just wish there was some of that in the ballads, to me personally. So they are ones I never gravitate towards, but the songs. The songs are so good. If you'll be proud, but the songs are so good. That's why I have to put her here. And it's like the more you listen to it, the more you just love it. Love her and love this album. Number 12 is Heatwave by Bronze Avery, another gay icon to me. I have loved Bronze Avery's music for so many years. He was definitely like, when I was trying to get more into my taste of music and discover smaller artists, he was definitely someone I had my eye on for a while. And this album is basically Brat, but more pop. If that makes sense. It's like the same energy as like Brat in a way. Like, you can tell the kind of person who's listening to it. It's hot and sweaty and it's like very fucking gay. Hot and sweaty in LA with like men by a pool. Take me there now. But it's so fun. And it's also just so impressive to know that he produced and wrote so much of the music for this album. It's so fun. It's such a good workout album and such just very energetic. And I think also what's kind of impressive with this album specifically is that I didn't realize how much variation there was in it, but how it still sounds very cohesive. I love it. I was very harsh to this album initially. I think I ranked it really low. And then I gave it a skim listen recently and I was like, oh, I was mean. And I listened to it in the gym and I was like, oh, I was so mean. I know this album's gonna be perfect when I go back to LA because I'm actually going back to LA, bitches. End of Jan, so I'm so excited and I know I'm gonna be streaming this album. Oh my god. By the time this video comes out, it'll be a month. Oh, it's so exciting. I love it and I think it's definitely one, I think if you want Brat summer to continue, but you don't want to listen to Brat and you want more of maybe a poppier side, it's the same vibe. I'd recommend this album a lot. There's so many favorites from it. All the pre-release singles he released, Sex in the Room, banger, Dangerous, banger, but also songs on the album, like Undercover. There's so many. I could go on about this out. Like, it is absolutely amazing and 10 out of 10 recommend. 11 is the Tortured Poets Department. Just part 1. This album has been on a journey with me as well. Damn, so many albums have been on a journey. Wow. I remember when this album came out, I actually initially didn't like it. I was really harsh about it. I think we all were, just because I remember me and my Swiftie friends were really, really harsh about it. Because I think with everything that was going on, it was very difficult not to just kind of be like, what the fuck? A bit like, what? Basically, we weren't expecting it to be about our favorite rat king, Matt Healy. We really weren't. We thought it was gonna be mainly about Joe, so it was like, oh my god. And also, I think because so much of it wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. And I think so many albums this year, especially as we go higher, try to reinvent the wheel in one way or another. I'm gonna get you. And so this album felt very safe, especially when you began the album with 4 synth pop songs. But the more I've listened to it, I actually really enjoy it. And I think shows the deterioration and the breakup of a situationship perfectly. It's done a really, really good job and it is really strong. It does feel like Red, but messier. Like, it's a messier version of Red, and that's why I think enjoy it a lot. Is it my favorite Taylor Swift album of all time? No. There are definitely things I wish that we would change. For example, the first 4 songs I could skip. Yes, I know that includes Down Bad. I know some of you girlies love that song, but I don't know. I'm not quite obsessed with it. I think also it's more, again, more mellower. So it's not an album I will gravitate towards all the time, I've got to be honest with you. But there are absolutely songs on this album that are definitely going to be in my top songs of the year. Guilty as Sin. Oh my god, that's absolutely amazing. The Alchemy's ended up becoming one of my favorite like calming songs. If I'm feeling just down or anxious or just need something just to mellow, it's that song. I really, really like it. But Daddy I Love Him, career highlight. And I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, the song of 2024, Mentally. Girl, this year's been rough. And the writing, again, I feel like people who said her penmanship is bad really don't know. I feel like this is just a really good album. And I feel like that title makes sense, personally. I don't know. I am very intrigued and pleased, desperate for like a really happy album from her, because we've had 4 slower, sadder albums. Please, Taylor, make a happy album. But no, I do really like this album. And it's like a mellow one. I could picture reading to it. We're in our top 10 now, which is very exciting. My god. So 10. So remember when I said I really like pop? Like Brat's pop. That includes this girly, which is Garly Pop Encore by Chrissy. I know Chrissy came out with music and came out with so many singles, my god, last year, and I fell in love with her. I saw her online and I think it's me and Ibby that really, oh my god, yes. Okay, it's Brat Pop at its peak. Like, it's literally for the Brat's girls. It's so 2010 at the beginning. I love it. There is like such an element of her pop which makes me feel like I'm young again, and I really enjoy it. And also, it's bright and I love it. Like, the lyrics are so like, yeah, I know I'm hot. Yeah, I know you want me. It's just so fun. Like, emergency. Love it. 10 boyfriends. 10 boyfriends is so cheeky. I love. We love our Bye Queen. It is really good. And so I kind of wanted more because I think it was originally an EP. And so when she released the album version, 3 extra encores, I was like, yes. And 2 of the encore songs I absolutely love. I Only Want You Tonight. Yes. Her vocals are insane on that song. Her vocals in general are amazing, but that song particularly. And then My Only Dream to Be Loved. I love that there's like this glam rock element to it. Love it. I love it. It's so theatrical and also the album cover 10 times prefer over the original Garly Pop one. It's so great. My god. There are 2 songs I don't really like from it, which is I'm Really Pretty. I just can't get into it. And The One Who Gets to Cry. I feel like this is one, like, I get the lyrical meaning, but it does feel just so out of place. I feel like if you wanted to have more of an emotional, vulnerable, but bratty song, we could do that. I just don't feel like this is the song for it. You get me? However, absolute banger. And if you are just missing some girly pop music, this is it. Number 9. Number 9 is the Wicked soundtrack. I love it. I love her. Which is so weird because I don't actually like the original, or I never really got into the original soundtrack. I've already fangirled about the costumes. You already know I love the movie, but the music, we can finally get more into it because, oh my god, it's so good. And this is why, kids, you hire singers to be in your musicals because, oh my god, they will devour. And I'm glad that we have moved towards that a little bit more, apart from Mean Girls the musical. I literally have been non-stop listening to it. It's so good. I listened to it once as an album and I was like, oh, I thought I would never be able to re-listen to it. I did it again. There are some things which I hate when musicals do this anyway, which is that they include the talking parts. I just want to listen to the singing, which they do with Dancing Through Life, and I don't want to listen to fucking Bach, Nessa, but they don't really do that. I don't mind if it's like a bit, but not like a whole chunk of the play or the movie, but it's so good. And I'm just obsessed. And there's so many songs I've added that I adore, like The Wizard and I, especially when the production gets so much more like boom, boom. And you can hear her smiling. What Is This Feeling? Oh, that's amazing. Dancing Through Life with My Husband. Honestly, that was the first song that blew me away, and even more the movie version. Oh my god. And you can tell they're singing live, which is even more impressive. Popular. And Defying Gravity, which is by far the best song. We don't even need to argue. It has made me cry. I just love this. I love this. And which makes me even more excited for part 2 because, oh my god, she's absolutely incredible and has made me want to add more music albums into like my Spotify library, which I'm going to because there's so many I haven't added, but I absolutely adore her. Next is one that I feel like no one really got that came out, which I was so surprised. Jaguar 2 by Victoria Monet. I love her so much because she also commented on my TikTok and reposted me on her Instagram. Life is complete. I remember listening to it like, this is absolutely amazing. It did start off kind of funny because Dick at Night is kind of hilarious. I'm realizing I really like my funny songwriters. Bring me a bit of humor. I live. I will say the songs are absolutely amazing, but I get why it's a deluxe. Like, I get why these songs were released later because it almost does feel a little bit like a different project. A little bit. And I feel like I get why because it's just not the Jaguar 1 or 2 quality as much. Not that they were bad songs, my god, no. And I don't want to imply that at all because I absolutely love these songs so much. But it's just, you know when like it just doesn't act like it's not the same. That makes sense. But I still love them. Like, oh my god. 1900 and Love Is Stronger Than Pride. I didn't realize this was a Sage song, so I'm so glad y'all informed me. Thanks on the TikTok comments. Oh my god, it's so good. And also seen Victoria Monet collaborating with Usher. Oh, I root for her forever and I absolutely love her. Don't Sleep is a banger. Again, Dick and I is fucking hilarious. There is one song I don't like, like, and that is 100% Everyone Needs Someone, because it's so corny. It's giving cheese, and not in a good way, because I love cheesy shit. I'm a big proponent of corn. I love me some cheese. I am cheesy myself, but I think to me it's just a little almost kiddish, like, hi guys, let's work together instead. I'm like, we might even be falling in love duet. Thank God that's in it, because it's so good. I think it's a really good. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints apart from that I can tell that either this should have been separate or this sounds different. But again, give me some Victoria Monet and you know I'm gonna be into it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And I'm so glad that we might even be falling in love duet even more, because I will be playing that non-stop. It's giving Valentine's Day. Bryson Tiller and her are absolutely amazing. Have you listened to Persuasion? It's a banger. Oh my God, it's such a banger. My girl, she's there. Number 7 is by one of our new artists of the year, Tyler Lewis, with Wait Till She Gets Her Heart Broken. I really like this EP. So I got into this EP because my friend Kieran, hey, actually produced with her 2 of the songs. And also one of my other favorite producers, Emanike, also helped produce. So it's so amazing. I'm just like, the amount of R&B in this is absolutely amazing. It's literally giving flow, but more vulnerable, if that makes sense. So it's not giving into like the sad R&B guitar kind of thingy, but it is just a little bit more vulnerable, and honestly makes me really excited to see where we go with her music. It's just such a strong EP. There are so many songs I also love from this year that actually creatively inspired me, like People Watching. People Watching is a banger, and it's such like an everyday experience that we all actually think and like no one speaks about. So I'm just like, yes. And then Sweep It Under the Rug, really related to this year. But also Never Been in Love, beautiful. Eventually, heartbreaking but so true. Also Flammable, yes. It's so strong, I just want more from it, which is why I can't really rate it much higher. But the more we get, I'm here. Number 6 is Dopamine, because you bitches, aka her management, failed her. Because this is such a strong R&B project. My God, this is absolutely incredible. And I feel so betrayed that like no one knows of it. Or people said it was bad. I've heard some people like, oh, I didn't like it. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? There are so many banger songs on here. And I'm also glad that this album explores so many different variations of R&B. It's not just one type of R&B. Like you've got the contemporary house, kind of more upbeat with Take My Time. You've got that like sensual hot wine with lights on. There are so many songs that I feel like emotionally I've resonated with a lot from this album. Insomnia is absolutely incredible, and I feel like, you know, if you've been through a breakup or even a friendship breakup or anything, like you're going through your day and you're feeling okay, you're taking it, one thing reminds you of your ex-best friend, or reminds you of a memory with them, or one thing reminds you of you and your ex, and it just kills you. It feels like you're back at square one again. Oh my God, I know there's so many songs about that, but I feel like that one just hit me here. Also, Tantrums with James Blake. That one grew on me, okay? She's a grower. Distance, love her. I just really like this album. Candy Paint should have been a single, and I'm so pissed that it wasn't. Even Big Boys, I love Big Boys. They should have been singles instead of thingy, but I really do love this album. There are a couple of songs I don't really love from it. Like I don't like Still. Could skip Still personally. I think also Grip. I don't mind Grip, but Grip just feels kind of like we already have this song already on this album. And especially after a banger like Candy Paint and Insomnia, girl. And Little Secrets is so good though. Little Secrets reminds me of like old Beyonce, like, Reveal. Love it. And I feel like y'all just need to appreciate her. Number 5 is actually, well, it's not been recent. Like I really liked it at the beginning, but now I'm in love with it. Wings by Ty. She may be only 9 songs, but let me tell you, she is an absolute banger and so amazing. This is for my R&B pop girls. If you love like both genres, this is for you. It's literally like 9 songs of perfection. I love it, and I am so glad I discovered her. Well, I didn't really. I know that she had a song that went viral, which is Girls Like Me Don't Cry, and I was like, okay, let me keep my eye on her. But this is banging. There's so many good songs. It's great for a workout. My God, it's actually really good for a workout. This reminds me of like getting ready before New Year's. You get what I mean? Like that getting ready, like you're getting ready for your girls to go out. It's so fun, and I love it. And again, so many songs like put like a skip in my step that make me feel joyous, and they make me feel just like I'm having fun. And I love that we have got this year so many fun pop albums. I'm so glad that fun music is playing with your deep emotional music. I'm so glad we're having both, and the quality of both is incredibly strong. It's not like one is suffered and one isn't, like they both are, because I feel like for such a long time within music, we've had like these really sad, melancholic albums which have been great and emotionally memorable, perfect, but then I'm missing the happy music, but then the happy music quality is not as great. So I'm so glad that the fun music is becoming strong again. I mean, honestly, this album is like no skips, and there's so many bangers like Role Play, What You Gotta Say, Date, Crash and Burn, Hair Down with Chungha though is even more superior, Cloud 11, just so many good songs. I can't complain. Like, this album is so good, and if you've not listened to this album, please do. It's literally like 25 minutes long. It's so much fun. Oh my god. Then number 4, Howdy Partner, because it's Miss Cowboy Carter. I remember listening to this album and just being stunned. I think it just ever since Renaissance, like Renaissance, listening to that and the amount that has grown on me. Oh my god. And so with Cowboy Carter, I was so excited. And let me just say, Miss B, she did not disappoint me. It's so poignant and it's so meaningful. I think not only meaningful to her and the lyrical content, but meaningful for the Black community and meaningful to disrupt a genre of country music and being like, Black artists began this genre, so why aren't we included in this genre? And this album is just so good. And again, it's classic Beyonce, so there's so many genres within one album, but it doesn't feel overloaded. It doesn't feel like, where the fuck are we going? It feels so cohesive and so like it belongs. And also it just, everything blends and blends in like a beautiful way, like painting a canvas. And there are so many runs in this album where like it's just one song after the other after the other that I'm like, oh my god. There is particularly one run which is absolutely perfection, and y'all really forget about this and I hate it. For me, it is the run from River Dance into Two Hands to Heaven into Tyrant. Perfection. Like, seriously, perfect. My god. Or even the run for me, which would be from Bodyguard to Dolly P to Jolene to Daughter. Perfect. And there's so many good songs. I feel like this album, you can tell, was just crafted with so much love and care. I mean, this is every Beyonce album. She's like very meticulous and very like, I know exactly what I want. But I feel like I'm so glad that so many artists have been doing that. And I've noticed that, like, have been very meticulous and careful and very precise about what they want. I feel like you can hear this even with Wings. You can hear that they've been precise about what they want and it ends up being such a perfect result. And I feel like this is absolutely incredible. My favorite song from the album is Ya Ya, because oh my god, it's so good. And as a dramatic production bitch who loves a bit of like theatrical edge, I love it and it's so good. We know she has an announcement. If it's a tour, girl, I'm going. My complaint with this album though, there's so many fucking interludes and short songs. There's, how many songs is there? 27. But it's still an hour and 18 because there are so many that are like 53 seconds, 50. To me, sadly, really ruins the flow of the album. Like, I'm sorry, but the amount of times I hear Willie Nelson in this album, girl, I know it's not even a lot, but it just really ruins the flow for me. I think that's what kind of kills it. Also, I do think my other criticism is that there are so many of just like those, which I know is a part of country music, but I hate it. Those basic guitar songs. I hate it. But also getting Miley Cyrus in this album. What an iconic duo. My god. This album's great though. Makes me really want to re-listen to it now. Top 3. Oh my god, this is so exciting. Because honestly, these top 3, 10 out of 10. I have 0 complaints about them. So at number 3 is Access All Areas by Flo. This is the kind of R&B music I have been craving. I have been desperate for. While you girlies are making these like sad, melancholic songs, I have been craving some fun, good, energetic R&B. And you know what Flo delivered me? Fun, good, energetic R&B. Oh no. I was like blown away. I knew it was gonna be good, but I didn't expect it to be that good. This was like blown out the park. And granted, I do know it's released in November, but honestly, I had it right below Cowboy Carter and I was like, fuck it. It needs to go higher because honestly, Flo have been just everywhere for me this year. And the hints and the teasers, oh my god, it's been so good. And I love them. They are so incredibly talented. And again, it's just one album album I have just non-stop listened to for the rest of this year. I keep on going back to it. I keep on falling in love with it. I just adore it. My God. And again, my friend has helped with this album too. So it's even cooler. So now I have like a personal connection as well. He helped with the intro and he also helped with I'm gonna get it till I'm gone. It's so good. The thing is, they're absolute bangers and they just come after each other. Like, I'm sorry. I could just do the whole album. The whole album's flawless, but like particularly AAA to In My Bag to Walk Like This, 10 out of 10. And then also like Nocturnal into Woulda Coulda Shoulda into Get It Till I'm Gone. I'm seriously just so obsessed with this album. And I feel like every time I listen to it, I just fall more and more in love with it because I catch like the cheeky production notes that they do. I catch the lyrics. I catch these little things that I'm like, I didn't catch before. And I'm just like, they're genius. The team behind this is absolutely incredible. My God. Basically, there's so many favorites. Intro, hey, In My Bag, Walk Like This, check. Nocturnal, Woulda Coulda Shoulda, Get It Till I'm Gone. I'm just like, oh, and so, oh my God, so good. And also the way that the songs blend into each other. I know Beyonce does this. This was so genius. Like, how does it feel into Soft? Genius. Like, answering the question. Love that. Check into On and On. So clever. Or I Would Hate to Be My Ex to Nocturnal to Woulda Coulda Shoulda. 10 out of 10. There's one song that I don't really like, but not because it's bad, because it just doesn't give me life, which is I Would Hate to Be My Ex. And I know they also released like some deluxe edition tracks. It's another one I've not really gone to it because honestly the album by itself is absolutely perfect. Please listen to it. Give my R&B British girls a chance because you will fall in love with them. I love them so much. We're on to the last two albums because I think I've been filming for nearly 2 hours. Number 2 is literally me. So remember the Powerpuff Girls? Which one do we have left? We have Miss Sabrina Carpenter. And guess who's number 2? Miss Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet. I wasn't expecting it to be this strong. I literally was like gagged. I was like, oh my God, the songs are absolutely incredible. She's short and she's sweet, but she knows exactly what she's doing and I fucking love her. Like, it's such good pop music. I love the amount of different genres that are also in this, but it still sounds very cohesive. Like a hair of country, a little bit of R&B, and pure pop vibes. And I feel like we all expected from Espresso for this to be banging, but none of us, and I'm sure none of us expected it to top every single expectation. It is absolutely incredible. It is another album I just constantly go back to. It just fills me with glee, and to me, it is her 1989. It has a commercially successful pop album, and to me, that means we are on the route to our next pop diva. Honestly, even songs that I didn't like from the beginning have grown on me even more. And the flow of this album is just so good. And this is another album which, like, personality has literally been injected into every single song. The giggle, that's cool, a little fade out. I love bitches who add personality into their albums, and I think this is just such an excellent example of it. I could rave about this album for years. Like, and I love how much it is just so embracing the pop energy. Like, just being like, yeah, I'm a pop girl. The marketing for this album has been absolutely genius. The music videos have been 10 out of 10. The looks have been served. But seriously, this album has just blown me away. And I'm so excited to see her twice. One in Manchester and one in Copenhagen, bitches. I love it so much, in fact, that with Espresso itself, I was the 0.05% of top listeners. That's that me Espresso. It's a true pop perfection to me. But Juno is my girl. Juno is the best song on the album, and with the instrumental break, it literally makes me feel like I'm running through a field with absolute glee and joy, and I love it. I love it so much. Juno is the best song on this album, and I'm so excited to see it live, and I'm so in love with the song. The lyrics are absolutely hilarious. It just makes me feel so happy, and if a song makes me feel like that, I've got to include it. Yeah, pretty much every single song I love. I think the only song that I'm like has grown less on me has honestly been Slim Pickings. I more think of it as being funny because girl, mood. This album is just so good, and I like that also this album, like, you can tell her growth within songwriting, particularly in like Lies to Girls. It's just so good. So that means we have one album left. What was my album of 2024? Drum roll, please. Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. I am a big Arianator, and I've loved her for like, I think properly fell in love with her by Dangerous Woman. But with Miss Eternal Sunshine, literally I remember when it came out, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, the quality of the music is absolutely incredible. I feel like I really like when Ariana works to a shorter deadline. She is such a girly who does that. This album was very, very quick because I think she made it during the strike while filming Wicked. This album is so artistically clever as well. I love that because to me, this is a conceptual album based off the movie Eternal Sunshine of Mine. And I feel like you could definitely hear that in this album itself. And I think that's so genius. Not only in the song, but the music videos and everything about it. And I feel like this is such a really beautiful example of going through heartbreak from a more, I think, empathetic position. More of a position of, I wish this wouldn't end. I have a lot of respect for you, but we know this has to be over, you know? And this album, honestly, got me through so much of this year. It's absolutely incredible. The production is insane. Of course, it's Max Martin, so I would expect nothing less. Like, this album is definitely like such a good album, and I think still stands out the test of time. And I think that's what proves to be a really strong album. If it's still my #1 and it came out in April, that proves it, my God. And there's so many songs I love from this, like Bye, Supernatural, The Boy Is Mine, Yes And. Honestly, We Can't Be Friends. I think that song's really grown on me. And Ordinary Things, it's so good. One thing I do not like in Perfect For You, just the melody. It really annoys me. No, but seriously, this album has just blown me away, and I think it's definitely up there as like one of my favorite Ariana Grande albums ever, and I think it's definitely deserves its position as Album of the Year 2024. And that's it! I have filmed for basically nearly 2 hours and 40 minutes. I had so much fun filming this video, and this is why I love music so much and why it's a specialized interest for me, because I can do this and it's just so enjoyable. My God. And it makes me even more excited for albums next year. My God, we have so many. Before the next year, comment down below. 1, your favorite album of the year. 2, albums I need to listen to. And number 3, I think, what album are you looking forward to next year? I really hope you do have a great rest of your year, and I shall see you in 2025. That's crazy. It also feels right. I'll see you guys next year. Love y'all. Bye.